Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com. The April Gates Group and Zion Canyon Real Estate have been specializing in helping Southern Utah clients buy and sell property for over 18 years. We can help you too. Call or text April today, 435-632-8869, 435-632-8869.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Great Day to Talk. I'm Kim Michelle, and I'm here with my beloved friends, Miss Jill.
Hello.
Oh, and Miss Patty. Drum
Yay! Patricia.
roll.
It's been a while.
It has, and we love you and have missed you and totally acknowledge you for the journey that you're on. So
Yes.
we welcome all of you to the podcast. We're so happy to have you here with us on this podcast. Taking a pause, ... So we're going to jump right into the conversation today, the same conversation that we're going to extend from our dinner that we just had together. And actually, that was the impetus for having this podcast, because these two ladies are my dearest friends in the entire world. And the opportunity to just be able to be with them and share and talk about all kinds of things, about all kinds of different topics, and be open to having differing ideas on it, but also welcoming the possibility that, wow, that's something I hadn't ever thought about, was the impetus for starting our podcast, A Great Day to Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago this month. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're very, very happy about that. And of course, we acknowledge everyone who's been a part of this, which includes our supportive families who have encouraged us along the way, as well as our sponsors. So Richardson Brothers, thank you very, 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 very much for coming on as a sponsor right from the very get-go. Judd Burkett and his company supported right from the very beginning. And April Gates has come on and just really been a guest on this show, which we're very, very happy and thankful around and always learn something from, and has been an amazing sponsor as well. So to everyone who has supported this process, we just want to make sure that you hear from us how much we appreciate that. Thank you for believing in us and in the conversations that we're having.
Yep. And thanks, Sean.
Yes,
For
thank you,
making
Sean.
us sound amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, and we may not always sound amazing, but you should hear us before Sean gets to it. So it's more amazing than it would have been. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we're always amazing. And you're
Yeah.
welcome.
No,
Yeah.
it's been fun. I love that we had better scheduled get-togethers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we need to continue to do.
Yeah. And that was really the impetus was we hope that there's been something of value in the conversation that maybe
sure.
you've heard, and maybe you thought about something in a way differently than that you would have thought about it previously. Or you just got a laugh, or you enjoyed our wondrous, beautiful music. Maybe not that one so much, but nonetheless.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Carrie, this one's for you. Well, no, I'll come
Wait,
back.
you gotta go.
Had the time of my life.
That's it. That's as good as it gets.
Oh, it out
I'll
to
do.
you. Beep, beep, beep.
Little dirty dancing.
For
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Sean has a new board. He's playing with it over there. I can tell.
I know, Sean. Why can't we see it up on the big screen? I don't know.
We don't
Turn
know
this
that.
off. He's
Yeah.
over it. Oh, he's
But
not
the
looking.
reason we started it really was because we wanted to make sure that we had a very specific reason to make sure that we're constantly seeing each other, because the people that love you are always going to be in your life. They're always going to be in your corner. So sometimes when life gets really hectic and you feel up against it, those people are already there for you. So sometimes they can be the easiest people to put off because they're going to love you no matter what.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, for me anyway, that those are the people that you get to make the highest priority for, because they're the ones that feed your spirit, your soul, your possibility, your
our
dreams,
stomachs.
and
All the
oftentimes
time our stomachs.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh.
So welcome to our podcast.
So I think it'd be awesome to just kind of go over a couple of the things that we've talked about in the last 2 years that we thought were important. A lot of times we've talked about books. We love books.
We love
have
books.
That common. I know that a lot of friends of mine that have listened have either felt like they've read the book because we talked about it,
Right.
or picked up the book because we recommended it.
Yeah.
And I love being recommended books. In fact, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, Jill came by to check on me. My mother-in-law was there as well, and they had shared a common book. And they said, I don't know what you're planning on reading next, but put it aside right now, and you have to read Mad Honey.
Yes.
And I'm 60% on my Kindle. I don't know what page that is, but I'm getting close, and that's all I want to do.
Good. Is
Oh,
finish it.
that's
Is
so
finish it.
awesome.
Mad Honey by Jodi.
Picoult.
Yeah. Picolts. I've heard a couple different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Great. Well,
So we've
then take
definitely
note of
talked
that.
about books.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
talked about
sure.
we talked about the Russia invasion
Yeah.
Yeah, with April.
with
and
April.
real estate.
We've
and
talked about real
Ukraine.
estate. We talked about mortgage rates with Kia. We talked about women's health with
Yes.
Joy.
Joy.
And also with our massage therapist.
Oh, my
yes,
gosh,
Marnie.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just
lots
saw
on
this
that.
week.
Yeah.
I just did a foot detox with her.
She does footology. Is that
Well,
what
she
it's
does
called?
reflexology.
Reflexology. That's what it's called.
She did a lymph
Lymph
massage, lymph node cleanse massage with me, and then I did a 30-minute foot detox where you put your feet in water and then this metal thing vibrates, and it supposedly vibrates.
Pulling all
Well,
the stuff
whatever.
out.
My water was clear when I put my feet in it, and it was mud when I left. Wow, let's get all that shit out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And there were black flecks, which are like chemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was interesting, and I have another appointment with her to do a massage with a foot.
Oh,
I'm going to
that's
do
so
a
great.
couple feet detoxes, and
That's
there's not
so
a
great.
it's a iffy topic because I know some people there's not a lot of
Western science behind it.
yeah,
yeah,
but there's
a lot of
definitely
Eastern science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so I just think if something works for you, it works for you.
Yep. Agreed.
regardless.
Yeah,
But
Agreed.
Totally.
anyway, yeah, Marnie came
And
on, then JJ came
Yeah,
on.
JJ
Yep.
came on, and oh my gosh, I'm like the little crocheter
Yes,
these days.
she is.
I know. She sends me a picture and she's like, here's, and I'm like, what? I'm still on roll 4 of the initial
Yeah, I haven't picked it up.
training that we were doing, which I
literally-
was so, I really, it's something that I say
Yes.
that I want to do. And
Yes.
obviously I'm not really committed to doing
No,
it because
I'm not either.
I'm not there
Stuff
yet.
gets in the
But
way.
I crocheted a rug for ants.
You did what?
my what I've crocheted. Have you
That's
done
like-
a Zoolander?
Oh.
What
Yeah.
is this? A house for ants?
Ants?
We're gonna do something at least 2 times.
Oh my gosh, I don't know that one. I only saw it once. I only
There's
saw
a
it once.
model. They're like, who's gonna live in that ants?
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah. Okay,
so
I got
funny.
to see that. Well, we talked about movies too. Speaking of movies,
Oh, yep.
we've talked about the books, and we've talked about
School and the book banning.
Yes.
And, parenting.
which feel as if it's related to school, but it's so much bigger than that conversation.
Absolutely.
That's, I mean, I think,
don't get me started.
if anything, that a lot of the experience that we have comes out of what it is that we do, which
Yes.
is teaching. And at the same time, it's a microscopic look at what really
Society
is
as
going
a
on in the
whole.
bigger society as a whole.
absolutely,
And that's why those conversations are so critical.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. Tell me, I think that we should talk about why we're taking a little pause, why taking a pause at certain points in our lives is important and healthy, and what we plan towards the end of the pause. Anybody want to jump into that?
Wow.
Or do you want me to
Why don't you start us?
lead? Well, we've sort of alluded. We have had Scott on and talked about
Yes.
Scott and his health struggles. But my two dear friends here are in the middle of some very powerful and life affecting and life affirming experiences.
As are you, dear friend.
Well,
It may look different, but it's still the same. Yeah,
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I don't look at it as mine. I look at it as my brother and sister-in-law and their family, but there's definitely been a large life change that has happened there, and we all continue to navigate through that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I mean, you're on the caretaker end of that. The fact that you were able to go up last year and take, several weeks, multiple times
Amounts of time. Yeah.
to take care of your brother, and then since then have dedicated a weekend a month to give your sister-in-law a reprieve. Like, that's why I said to you, when you're translated, put in a good word for me.
We're hoping to hold
Yeah,
on to those,
hopefully.
to those coattails and get on up there with
we're
you.
gonna all be in the same spot. There's no translation. I don't want to be translated. Are you shitting me? I'm not going to be with any of my people.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you're going to be with us because
We're
we're
all
holding on to
together.
your coattails. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess mine kind of started. It was a year ago, February, and my younger brother had a severe health, nearly taking his life. That changed and altered their entire life and their experiences. He was in a coma for over a month, and that took me up north for a couple of months with some breaks here and there to come back home. And so that's been a navigation for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's one thing.
And an adjustment for
And
you,
then-
but also your family, because
Yeah.
when you're gone, then they're adjusting to what that looks like. So it's an adjustment across the board.
That's good practice for them to move out on their own. 'Cause I'm
All
right
of them,
around.
every member of your family,
Well,
your
just my
husband,
boys.
Judd, is
Just
moving
the boys.
out,
Just the
living
boys.
next
Just
door.
the boys. Just the boys. Just the boys. Good practice for being a little more self-reliant, I guess.
Yeah.
But
they're demonstrating that
Yeah.
because Ethan,
is moving. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be a half nester in a month. That's so
when
weird.
you become a full nester,
A full empty nester. I'm going to only be a half nester because Ethan's moving up north.
yeah,
They come back.
I know. I went back and I just don't want to even. I'm gonna intend that to not be a thing. But he's moving. He graduates from college the first week of May, and is heading up north. He's gonna be going to the U to work on his master's.
It's so phenomenal.
Yep. And
yeah.
his sweet girlfriend, who we love, is already up there working on her double master's, and so they're going to be happily reunited and not doing the long distance thing any longer.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say half nester, because then we'll have Max,
Yeah.
who is getting kicked out in August to move into the dorms so that he can start his little journey at practicing some adulting
Oh,
and
that's so awesome.
scaffolding. He'll be in the same town, but so those are all great things. Those are all
Yeah.
great things.
And I think that builds better relationships when you have your kids out.
100%. That's how
For
it worked
me,
for
it
my
does.
family.
Yeah.
As soon as I moved out, my dad and I suddenly got along. It was
Yeah.
shocking.
It wasn't as soon as I moved out. It was.
It took a
I
minute.
bet it was 20 years
Oh,
when
I doubt that.
my relationship just became so much better. It wasn't bad at all, but it just became so much better.
right. I've been listening
about
to
10 years ago.
listening to Michelle Obama on the Glennon Doyle podcast.
Yeah,
And she
so
talks
fabulous.
she talks about this experience with her girls moving out and how she just, I mean, they like each other and they like to see each other, and yet
Then they like to go
parenting-
home.
and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
well,
really interesting.
it's like company or grandkids. You love them, and then they go to their own house.
yeah,
And you're like, you love them even more.
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
That's so great. And so that's one of those things. This summer we're going to be gone to our Maine, which is definitely going to be a very needed.
And when do you
Little
leave
get-
for Maine?
We leave the
Well-
24th of June.
You're
you
already
and Judd
gone
go
out in your
because you're
head.
going to go to the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, we'll leave the 24th of June. Stop in Boston, see the
John Mayer Grateful
John
Dead.
Mayer Grateful Dead, Dead and Company, and I can't remember if this is number 3 or number 4, but it's their last year of touring, so we're gonna see them in Fenway at Fenway.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
That
then
is so
we'll
fun.
Take the train up to Maine. We decided we're gonna send the boys and Ethan's sweetheart home after 8 days instead of keeping them with us the whole time.
That's good.
And
you and
then-
Jet time. I
yeah.
think that's really great.
Yep. And then Judd will stay for another week, and he'll go home because he has to bring home the bacon, part of the bacon.
And fry it up in a pan.
Na-na-na-na. Hey, if you don't know that song, you're too young.
Yes.
Too young.
Oh, that was the
Yep.
best commercial.
Yep. But then I'm going to stay for an extra week by myself.
Oh, I love that.
And I've never done that. And I've talked about doing that for a couple of years. And this is the year.
So you'll
Yeah.
be back, what, the end
So
of
then
July?
I will be back on the 19th of July.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So-
school almost be starting. It's
Well,
No.
it is,
Shame,
yeah.
shame,
No,
shame.
Nope. I'm going to throw
Sorry,
in another
it
trip
is.
in there with my sister and
Karen?
and Max and Jonah. We're going to go to New York City.
Oh, nice.
So I'm
My
just gonna
favorite
try
city.
And it's amazing.
You already took Max to New York City this
I
year.
know, but he's paying for himself this
Oh,
time.
I love it when my kids
Yeah.
can pay.
Yep. He's going to pay. He makes more than any of us. So-
Right. My kids all make more money than we do, and it's kind of nice when we go out to dinner. Nope, Riley and I are on our own check. Yay. You assholes can pay. No, just kidding. Just kidding. You guys can pay for yourselves.
No, but it's
and then
but
she
it is how it
wonders
is.
why she's alone. at
I don't
dinner.
know why my kids don't want to visit.
Are you kidding me? Your kids love
Yeah,
to visit.
yeah.
But anyway, so that's a little bit about my
Your
pausing,
summer.
my pausing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Anybody
I think that's
else?
fabulous.
Anybody else want to share?
Well, I feel like I've already paused. This is my second this year of 2023, and I haven't. I keep thinking maybe I'll do a post, or, I had one of my old a previous cheerleader text me. She's getting married and sent me, and she's like, "How are you really doing?" And I'm like, does she know what
Right.
I'm doing or not
Right.
know what I do? So I never know, and I'm like, I don't know if you heard. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. But I have some friends that I haven't just called to say, hey, so they found cancer in January and I'm
Right.
doing chemo, that I want to have
Yeah,
in the loop, but I just,
it's cold
it's
calling.
a weird,
Why?
yeah, it's
right.
a weird thing. And I really appreciated when someone else has told
Mentioned
someone.
it.
That's
yeah.
why
Yeah.
I did. Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
why I
I
we
blab
talked
it.
about
I
that.
blab it all
Blab
over
it,
everywhere.
blab it,
yeah,
blab it, yeah.
Because I'm gifting that to you, my
Thank
friend.
you, thank you.
Because that's how I roll.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I'm doing my 5th out of 6th chemo treatment
Why
tomorrow.
did I think it was 9? Oh my head.
It feels like 9. I get
Yeah.
that.
Like 9. I think that's why.
And yet it's nothing like 20.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was really healthy when I went in.
Mm-hmm.
And I have several friends. I have a friend that's this is her 8th year, and so her body manages chemo now. Just it can wipe her out.
Yeah.
right.
Where I've been pretty lucky in that I can get my chemo on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday I'm tired. Tuesday, and then I'm tired the whole time. I'm
Right.
always tired.
Yeah.
I ramp
Right.
up. I'm good in the mornings, and then
Yeah.
by 4
Hit the
o'clock
wall.
I hit the wall. But I'm not nauseous. I have migraines. I have
Bones,
My
joints.
bones
Yeah,
hurt because
achy.
they're mass producing white blood
Yeah.
cells from a shot I get.
Is that I've never knew that's what it was from. I
Yeah.
thought it was just part of the side effects.
So chemo on Thursday, and then Friday I get this shot, and
Yeah.
it causes your bone marrow to mass produce,
Yeah.
white blood cells, so you
Right.
can
Yeah.
fight off.
spots.
Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that causes pain in my joints. So
Yeah.
my knees always hurt. My knees and legs hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just take stuff for it, and it still kind of bugs me. But
Yeah.
one of the hardest things is I am so vain, and
You're
so vain. You probably think this song is about you, don't you? Don't you?
Well, indeed.
That's how we roll.
Yep. Vain. Yeah. I was okay until all my eyelashes fell out,
Yeah.
and then my eyebrows have fallen out. My hairs fell out 2 weeks after chemo.
Yeah. It's so
Ex-
cute.
But as long as I wear a hat, and I don't really love my wig, it's itchy and it
Yeah.
feels kind of fake. But I wear it when I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you feel like you have to.
Yeah, when I feel like I have to, like
Yeah.
at church, if I've gone to some or a restaurant where a hat's not necessarily appropriate, but I don't really go to very many of those fancy, not a lot of fancy restaurants, but I am so blessed in so many ways and lucky and fortunate that I haven't had to work.
Yeah.
I've been able to be home since Christmas break and heal. That my treatments have been reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reasonable. I was going
Comparatively.
to say,
Comparatively.
they're still,
And it's
come
still,
on, be honest. They're
it's
still,
hell.
Well,
It's
it
still hell.
sucks.
It is.
yes. Okay. I
It
just want you
sucks.
to acknowledge that because it does.
Yeah, and I
And
usually
playing
have
it
a
down.
little pity party I had a pity party this morning,
Yeah.
and then I'm fine. So being home, get to
Yes.
be
to
well,
heal.
to heal. It hasn't been a financial burden.
Yeah.
And I minus hair loss and feeling crappy for a few weeks is
Yeah.
way better than a lot of
Yeah.
people I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm
And still.
And then you'll move
own
to
that it sucks.
radiation, right?
yeah, and then I have 28 days of radiation.
consecutively.
Yes,
Yeah.
so
Except for you get Saturdays and
Saturday
Sundays
and
off.
Sunday
Five
off.
out of
Like,
7.
yeah, so 5 days a week, then times 5.5 weeks.
And then when that is completed, then you'll just do follow up
Yeah,
checks.
yeah, they'll do. I'm going to ask tomorrow.
Do I need to come with you? Because I'm
Probably.
really
I
good
already-
at asking questions.
I am too.
Yeah,
Because I already know what questions I would ask.
Oh, you should text them to me.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
But
So I
even
know.
if she texts them, will you ask them?
yeah, absolutely. I am not.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
usually come with a list
Okay.
of things I.
Add PET scan on there.
Yeah.
Pet scans. I'll do.
Blood work.
They'll do
Often.
blood work. Yeah. Well, I do blood work every week. Because you have to have so many, your white blood cell and your red blood cell
Has to
count
read at a certain level.
so that you can get chemo.
And your platelets.
Your platelets. And
Yeah.
I've been really
Good.
pretty good and healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't anticipate that being a problem for the
Yeah.
next two. But yeah, it is what it is. But I have missing my friends at work, missing my students at work, and they couldn't have been more gracious and generous. And shout out to my substitute. That's been
He's
amazing.
amazing.
He's been, what I hear, he's been amazing.
Yeah, and I'm so happy they hired him
Yeah.
to teach
Yeah.
language arts next year.
Yes.
And I just got a text.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's holding lunch reviews for my
Yeah.
AP kids.
Oh, I didn't
I just
realize
found
he was
out. He
doing
just texted me
that.
that he was doing that.
That's so
which is
awesome.
also amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He's a great find. He's
Yeah.
a great find.
yep. So I feel like I've just been on a pause. This is my second podcast this 2023.
Yep.
Because
Well, a pause is a pause. It doesn't matter whether it's a
No,
week
we're
or
not counting. Yeah.
longer.
no, I get it, but I just I've
You've been busy.
been
You've been busy.
busy trying to heal, and I have been
no,
going to
busy
yoga.
healing.
Busy healing.
Yes.
Not trying.
Different than trying.
Yeah. I've been busy healing and added yoga last week, and I have needed that.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
That's
I'm
good.
so happy.
That's
so
good.
for me.
Yay.
for you?
And baby coming too.
We got a baby coming.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, another grandbaby. And in the big scheme of things, you know, the you just love your grandbaby so much that this opportunity to be able to maybe be there in times when you otherwise might not have been able to is a payoff that it's the gift that comes from a perceived burden.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That then makes the burden an actualization that that wasn't a burden at all. It
Right.
was
And
only the gift.
that's 100% true for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I yep.
Love it.
I have been able to spend some time where I couldn't have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yes.
fabulous.
And I've had lots of people care for me and been able to have a lot of good, like humbling experiences.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't even know Riley liked me.
And now you know a little bit, or you're
Well,
confident.
I don't know. I don't know what it
he-
is, but he's very territorial.
Yes, he is.
He won't let anyone come sit with me during chemo.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just has to be him.
Yep.
Yep.
And
As it should be.
yeah,
This
I
is-
love that.
This
Yeah.
is lovely.
Yeah. I love
it's
that.
funny.
I think it's adorable.
Yeah,
And
he's,
it's
he's
as it
pretty
should
cute.
be.
He's cute.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love him. And Judd. We love Judd.
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
about you, KM?
So, you know, I think that the things that you think you know, life will give you an opportunity to examine whether you really knew them. So, you know, I taught for so many years, and then I went into the private sector and worked in personal growth and leadership and embraced a concept that thing which it is that you're truly committed to, regardless of circumstance, you still get to be committed and obligated to that thing.
Right.
And I absolutely believed it when I taught it, and I still believe it in terms of our natural, I think, go-to is when circumstances then begin to challenge that thing that we say that we want, and we're not absolutely confident we can create that thing, then the circumstance becomes a reason why we didn't. So I still appreciate that. I think this journey has been with my husband has been an opportunity for me to just really, I've always worked to be in a space of grace, especially as I work with other people, not necessarily as much with myself, but especially as I work with other people. But I think even now, when you're up against the thing that seems most formidable of anything you could imagine, to be able to be in that space and recognize, gosh, sometimes you just have to make choices and decisions that have nothing to do with the circumstance and your ability to move through the circumstance, but a choice to say, what I thought was so important here is no longer the thing that is really important to me. And that it's okay. I'm not bad. I'm not enough because I'm not pursuing it any longer. That I can choose grace with myself to say the thing that I thought was so important and maybe ultimately is in this moment, in this space of time,
Right.
is not what's so important to me any longer. And it doesn't make me bad. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make me not enough. It doesn't make me not committed. It just means that I'm where I'm at.
Maybe you're human.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd have to say all three of us have learned that lesson. And I know last year when you needed to be up north with your
Yeah.
brother,
Yeah.
you had such a torn feeling is
Yeah.
this is where I need to be, but I got to be a good teacher, and a good
Yeah.
teacher is at school every day, and da da
Yep.
da da da.
Yep.
And for me to take off this last semester
Yeah.
has been like, well, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be in my classroom.
Right.
And one of the things that I've learned this in the last 4 months is this boundaries that when someone asks me to do something, I just immediately say yes. And
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. I have to
Yeah.
say, no, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Or no, people have been at my house and I've just gone to bed.
Yeah.
I haven't felt like I needed to stay awake just because
Yeah,
people
and
were
take
there.
care
How
of
great is
everybody
that?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something, I mean,
It's hard for
the,
you.
yeah, I don't like that lesson, but I needed that lesson. And if this is where this is all around, and hopefully I take this lesson into the future. And when,
Absolutely. And I it's no coincidence that the three of us that sit here tend to be doers. And so at some level, regardless of the language around it, a certain part of who we believe we are comes from that which we do.
yeah, I've been a human doing
Yeah.
my whole life.
Yeah. And it
And,
doesn't
right,
mean there's not
instead
other
of a
great
human
things.
being,
And
yeah.
No, you've been a human being as well. But
Sure.
a part of your human beingness is attached to the doingness.
100% has
So-
been.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so I don't think it's any coincidence that life has given us an opportunity to step back and truly say, you are who you are, and that is more than enough, regardless of what you do. And sometimes I can see a glimpse of that, but oftentimes, I mean, I know I'm still doing so much that is not serving me. Yeah.
I agree.
You
I
have all the
I
things
agree with
happening.
that for me as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's even today I went with Scott to chemo, but my classes are doing these book club literary circles, which I so believe in.
Right.
And I think it's so serves them, and it gets them in this, why we do this
Yeah,
podcast,
this conversation.
in discussion.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for them. They have prompts, they have all these things, and still I get to walk around and say, okay, if that's true, then what? Because they don't know where to take the conversation next, because I think there's just been such a decreased opportunity for just discussion without criticism.
And it will continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I so believe in that concept. But at the same time, I knew I would have a substitute today as they're doing their book clubs. And I just could not just leave it and let it
Be.
I didn't have enough faith to just say it's going to be exactly how it's meant to be, and I'll be able to recognize why it was what it was, and then be able to help them see how it could be different.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't have enough faith in that. So I dragged Scott along and
Right.
went to my first period class so I could demonstrate it all
Did he come
to
in?
the substitute. He did. And I'm, even though he came because I was going there, so there's a part of me that's like, it's okay that I didn't have faith in that moment, because him being there was such an amazing and beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Well, for
So-
him to watch you do what you do so well, and then for the students to recognize why you have to leave every other Wednesday
Yeah.
to sit with your husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's is important for them to see that.
You're real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody is real. Everybody you're talking to, everybody you're having judgment on, everybody that you're condemning, or everybody that you're embracing has a part of them that you may not truly know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell my students every month when I'm going to go that I'm going up to help my brother, to help my sister-in-law, really, to give her a break. But I tell them because I think that one of the things that doesn't happen, and I think back to when I was in school, you look at your teachers and you don't expect that they have lives outside. You
Oh.
don't expect that they're anything but your teacher.
Yeah.
right?
And I think I live there.
Yes. And
When you see them at the movie, they're
Right.
like, "Ew, gross! Why are you out?
Yeah.
wow, you're
We're going to the
here.
same movie.
Why are you not at school
That's
where you're
sick.
supposed to be?"
Yeah.
I've had plenty of conversations with my students about that.
Yeah.
It's been important for me to acknowledge that to them, and to acknowledge to myself that because of those experiences last year, I, for the first time this is my 25th year teaching, have set some boundaries that I've probably done way better than I thought. I would say probably 60-70% at holding my boundaries.
I'm going to say even more than that. And had you not set boundaries, it's easy to say what percentage you're at because you didn't set any.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just absolutely have tried to do that this year. And honestly, because of what my two friends have gone through and are continuing to go through, because, Todd's experience was enough, but yet, what, the further away from experience you get, the more you kind of slip back into your old
Right.
ways. And so the examples and the things that you guys are doing is another reminder that there needs to be a pause.
Yeah.
And there needs to be boundaries in order for us to actually maintain who we are and do the things that we really want to do.
Yeah. That's why I love this decision that we've come to, and even the title of this podcast in terms of taking a pause, because it is grounded in a conversation about where are we and what really supports us the most. Not what the expectation is, not what we make it mean if we don't do it anymore, not any of that.
Right.
But simply, where are we? What do you need? And how can we support that? And that's where this whole idea around, listen, let's give ourselves some time to breathe here for a moment, and to deal with some very real things, not consuming things, but very real things that are showing up so that we can learn and grow and still talk to each other. We're still going to meet. That was my biggest concern about not doing the podcast, because these are my two very best friends in the whole world. And when my biggest fear is that if we're not doing the podcast, I won't see them on a regular basis. And they're what give me, they ground me. They let me know that regardless of how anybody else thinks you're showing up in the world, we love you.
Ditto.
And that is so, if you don't have that in your life, that's the one thing I'm going to encourage you to do over the pause, is find that.
I also feel like it's a space where I can be vulnerable, and where in so many other spaces I choose not to be.
We have our
Put
persona.
my masks on, and my parents won't ever listen to this, but when I go to my parents' house, or when I talk to my mom, I talk to my mom or dad every day. I'm always like, no, I'm good. Everything's great. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Always. And that's on purpose, because I don't want them sad for me. But where I'm with, you guys know I'm okay. So I can
call
be
you on
sad.
it.
Yeah.
Say,
Well, and you guys
"How
can
are
see through
you?"
my
Patty
bullshit.
is still Patty.
Right. You can absolutely see through through my BS.
Yep.
And I need that space of vulnerability. And that's something I think, when you said you challenge people to find that, I also, without vulnerability, we can't grow.
Yeah.
And so, okay, Brene Brown.
I love it.
Because vulnerability is simply a space of being able to acknowledge and recognize that there is more greatness in me than I can possibly even understand. And in this moment, I just don't see it. I mean, that's
just being authentic, or and
real and
Feel
honest,
the feels.
and
And not
know
have
that
to wear the mask.
there's love there and grace there, regardless of what is said or the tone in which it's said, or whatever.
there are few people that I am sad in front of in this experience. So
Well, you guys have seen me at my absolute worst. When after Todd had his party favors,
and we didn't even know where it was going to take us
Nope.
at that point.
Nope.
Yeah.
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Which
So,
is still heartbreaking.
Yeah.
and here we are.
And here we
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
And how is he? Let's go there for a moment. And Kathy.
Well, Kathy is a trooper. I have no freaking idea how she does and manages everything. She is amazing, and I just can't imagine how she does it all. She works full time. She's Todd's 24/7 caretaker, manages all of his health needs and appointments and every piece of insurance that is she is still getting bills a year later.
Yeah.
You guys know how it is. I mean, you're
Mhm.
you know, you've got your own medical insurance stuff, and
It's medical warfare.
it is. And that's the thing. It's like to add that, and we've talked about this before, when you should be focused on the healing and the processing, you're adding this whole
Yep.
full-time job of
You're focused on a
dealing.
fight, but it's
Yeah.
not that fight.
It's not the right one.
the
It's
fight
not the right one.
that all of your energy it should be
Should be
committed
to.
to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she is just, she really is in the moment, and is everything she does is to be the best advocate for Todd that she can possibly be.
I
And
after the
she's just
pause, I
crazy.
would love to have her
she
come on.
She would be
Yeah.
amazing.
The
She's-
ultimate caretaker.
Yeah. I mean,
she's-
because people will say that to
Mhm.
us about being positive and forward moving and you know, but they don't see me at 2:30 in the morning when I'm looking at Scott trying to make sure he's still breathing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Riley does that. After my surgery in January, he wouldn't. He was stop touching me in the middle of the night. He was
that's
just
why.
making sure I was
Still there.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
even the other night, I was stuffed up and I thought he was asleep and I was just breathing. I didn't even realize I was stuffed up. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
You know, the panic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I have opportunity of staying the night with Todd, and that's one of the things that, and he's my brother. He's not my spouse. Right.
Right.
And so I sleep in the room with him in Kathy's side of the bed, just so, because he just has to have somebody there.
Right. Energy.
Yeah.
It's energetically.
Yeah.
He feels.
and that gives
to
Kathy
watch
a
him.
break. Yeah.
And it's the same idea. It's like you wake up and Todd snores, but when he doesn't,
That's when you worry.
brings you
yeah.
right up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of those things that make you appreciate the close tribe that you have, because like you said, then you can be vulnerable. You can say all the hard things and know that those hard things will be welcomed with love and compassion and not judgment and cynicism.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Well, and I definitely would, during this pause, I still have some work with boundaries. That's one of the things that I've been working on over the last 4 months is boundaries and where they came from and why I feel so forced obligated to say yes no matter what anyone asks. Even before I think it through, the answer is yes. And so working with that, and also feeling not guilty
yeah.
for taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone needs to work on that.
Well, actually, I know some people that are really good about being very clear about taking care of themselves. And I think as a general rule, if you've shown up in the space around part of my value is what I do. then it becomes that much more
Which
difficult.
is I do.
Yeah.
I show up there. That's where I
Self-judgment.
show up best.
Yeah, I mean,
Self-judgment,
we
self-judgment.
were all attracted to each other for some reason,
Right.
Besides our amazing looks,
Right.
and our fabulous
And our-
Well,
personality.
my looks have
And our
been going and going.
fabulous
Like I said,
Okay.
No, you're
Stop.
still
My-
the most
yeah.
beautiful woman in the room.
You know, I had a thing on Saturday I went to, and one of my biggest struggles is seeing people who I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And so I went to a cheer competition. My oldest daughter coaches, and I went to see her team perform. And she's like, "Hey, come over. Everyone wants to see you." And I was like, "No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want to hear, is that your hair? How are you? How are
Right.
you? You know."
Look
And
close.
it comes from such concern. It's not coming from
Right.
anything
it's
bad.
genuine.
It's just like, I can't.
yeah. But that's
I don't
okay
need
to say.
see. I'm like, I'm not going over there to see anyone. I don't.
Okay.
I was so happy the lights were off in the area
Yeah.
when I went. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad it's dark. And I'm going to school next week, and I'm like,
And they're going to be so happy to see you.
yeah, but
It's
so
still
scary.
It's still a
Like,
thing.
yeah.
yeah,
it
it's
is.
a thing.
It
So-
is. But how honest is that conversation? And that's exactly why we stepped into a Great Day to Talk. And it's exactly why we'll be coming back after the pause, is to continue to have those kinds of conversations that however it is that you are, that's exactly where you're meant to be. And that is more than enough. And that, I think, is the journey through this pause, is how are we in practice of that? Where do we see that I could use a little bit more practice in that area? And where is it that we can say, you know what, I think that I can embrace it, even if it's just for a moment, and then celebrate that too.
Well,
Yeah.
here's to a pregnant pause.
A pregnant pause.
Maybe in your world, not here in this
No,
world.
thank you.
for
No,
sure.
thank
I
you.
can tell you that's
Yeah.
an official party is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, we
Goodness.
want to thank our spouses for sure, who have
Yep.
always been so supportive. And Scott loves me to be with him. I'm so blessed in that way. But there's nothing more than he loves than when he knows I'm going to be with my girls.
Yep.
And nothing brings him more joy than that. And everyone deserves to be in that kind of space. But we all have those husbands that are amazingly supportive in this endeavor here.
Yep.
And so definitely we want to give a shout out to them. A shout out again to Sean, who's always been so patient
Oh,
with us.
so
and,
patient.
you
Sorry,
know,
Sean, we can't make it. Sean.
Yeah, Sean. There's going to be
no,
10
that's
of
not
us
when. It's next
instead
time.
of just 3 of us. So we really thank you, Sean, for that. And thank you for everyone who has followed. We know that we haven't always been on every week, and sometimes it changes.
Right.
And yet you've still found a way to find us.
Yep.
And that's how we know what we're doing, excuse me, matters and will continue to matter, even if it was just the 4 of us sitting in this room with Sean.
Yeah. We'd still be funny.
Oh,
We'd
for
still
sure.
sing
And we'd
songs.
still be singing songs terribly, but still singing them. So enjoy this pause for you. What we would encourage you to do is be in the place of what is the greatest lesson for me to learn in this moment of this pause.
Yep.
Yeah. And leave you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace and love
Yeah.
and rock
Thank
and
you.
roll.
Thank
is there a
you.
song? Are you going to take us out?
And
So I will always love you. Always love.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.